This is the 18 WJTS News. In tonight's news, Huntingburg City Council holds its first meeting of the new year. INDOT plans to close the Nancy Hanks rest area near Dale. No smoke detectors were found in the deadly fire in Tell City over the holidays. In sports, Kurt Guxell looks at Jasper High School basketball. On WJTS Informed tonight, Tammy Lampert, director of SWICAC, joins us. All this and more coming up next on the 18 WJTS News. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Bill Potter with the WJTS News. Tuesday night, the Huntingburg City Council passed ordinances to provide Patoka Township with fire services for $26,000 and Parks and Recreation services for $12,000. In addition, the council passed an ordinance to provide fire and police services for the DuBois County Airport Authority for $3,500 each year. The council passed a resolution to adopt the DuBois County Mitigation Plan. It is the third plan the city of Huntingburg has approved, which is approved every 5 years. Past projects benefited the DuBois County Mitigation Plan include Beaver Lake Dam, the brim around the wastewater plant in Huntingburg, U.S. Economic Development Administration, and disaster recovery funds. The Community Storm Water Project in DuBois, and the relocation of Huntingburg's street department. Currently, that is, Huntingburg has a stormwater project listed as a future project as part of the mitigation plan. This was brought forth to the council by DuBois County Emergency Management Director Tammy Humpert and Lisa Galehausen, the Executive Director of Indiana 15 Regional Planning Commission. Also, Tuesday night, the Huntingburg Council re-elected at-large Councilman Tim Ware as the council's president pro tem. Ware will run meetings in the absence of Mayor Denny Spinner. And the Huntingburg Council appointed a new committee to review proposals from companies wanting to update the city's comprehensive plan. The committee includes Councilman at-large Tim Ware, Mayor Denny Spinner, Community Development Director Rachel Steckler, Planning Director Paul Lake, and the Huntingburg Redevelopment Commission member Helen Camacho. A request for proposals was recently sent out. The proposals are due back by February 4th. And a WJTS TV programming note, the Huntingburg City Council and the Jasper City Council meetings are aired here on 18 WJTS the Sunday following each of the individual meetings. So this Sunday morning, January 13th at 8 a.m., WJTS will feature the Huntingburg City Council meeting in its entirety. Officials from the Indiana Department of Homeland Security say they were unable to find any smoke detectors at the Tell City home where 3 children died. The agency, which includes the state fire marshal, has been investigating the fire that broke out just 3 days after Christmas. They previously said there was no evidence of working smoke detectors, but now they say they don't believe there were any smoke detectors at all. The cause of the fire was ruled undetermined. Selena Applegate and her 2 older children were taken to the hospital. 11-year-old Danielle, 6-year-old Thomas, and 3-year-old Rosanna were killed. The family's 2 dogs also died. Indiana law says the property owner is responsible for installing smoke detectors and that it's the renter's responsibility to maintain them. The Washington community and Bar Reef schools reorganized for the new year earlier this week. Washington school board members were sworn in, and longtime member Steve Frett was again selected to serve as president of the board. Randy Bushy is vice president and Peg Stevens is secretary. The 3-member Bar Reef school board named Lana Helms as president. New member Jody Schulteis, vice president, and Alex Knepp, secretary. School Superintendent Travis Madison hopes to have public meetings in the coming weeks for the community to see Bar Reef's building plans for the corporation's renovations and expansion. The Indiana Department of Transportation has confirmed plans to close the Nancy Hanks rest area along Interstate 64 near Dale. The State Transportation Department says the shutdown of the east and westbound rest areas are due to cost efficiency based on the amount of traffic the rest areas see. and needed repairs on the 30-year-old buildings. They say crime is also an issue. NDOT Southwest Communication Director Jason Tiller says there is a very large investment involved and that the usage does not justify the amount of money the state has to put into it. He says, in fact, the amount would be in the millions. Tiller says to keep these facilities up and running, you're looking at a significant investment of probably $1 million per facility. So for the 2 facilities there, $2 million. Tiller says that includes annual operating costs, all the maintenance that has to be done, contractors, etc. Tiller says there is no set timeline for the closures, but it will be in the immediate future. While the shutdowns could potentially save taxpayers money, it could complicate commutes for truckers that deliver throughout the I-64 route. While NDOT estimates that only 8% of traffic on I-64 stops at the Nancy Hanks Rest area, many of those drivers are truckers who use it to take mandatory breaks. Indiana Motor Truck Association's president Gary Langston says Indiana already has a truck parking shortage, so any reduction in capacity is a concern. Gay Ann Harney says she plans to seek a second term as mayor of Rockport in this year's Democratic primary election. Meanwhile, Don Winkler has declared his intention to file as a Republican in his own bid for mayor. Harney is seeking a second term after defeating incumbent Harold Goffinet by 14 votes in 2015. Prior to becoming mayor, she has served as a county clerk before leaving the clerk's office because she was at her term limit. Harney says she is running for a second term to keep making improvements to the community's infrastructure and capitalizing on grant opportunities, such as the kind that made the renovation of the auto parts store possible. Winkler hopes to bring a new perspective to city government with an eye toward fiscal responsibility. Prior to becoming the building inspector for the county and the city of Rockport, he served for 4 years as a jailer with the Spencer County Law Enforcement Center. While this would be his first elected office, Winkler is eager to serve the community and begin to make his case to the public. Other offices up for election include the town councils of all incorporated towns. Offices are up for Rockport include mayor, clerk treasurer, and 3 council positions. In Santa Claus, 3 seats on the town council will be up for election, as well as the clerk treasurer position. In Chrisney, all 3 members of the council will be up for election, as well as the clerk treasurer. In Grandview and Richland, 5 council seats are up for election, as well as the clerk treasurer positions in those towns. Gentryville will not have positions on the ballot as their municipal offices were elected unopposed last year. Those interested in running for office have until noon Friday, February 8th to register with the Spencer County Voter Registration Office. Now to the City of Washington's election. Beth McGoogie has announced her candidacy for re-election for the City of Washington's Clerk Treasurer office. She is seeking her second term on the Republican ticket. A few of her accomplishments include hiring and cross-training qualified staff, the replacing of outdated software with new, more mainstream system, and assisting with the development of an employee manual. She says she believes she has gained invaluable experience during her first term and served the public well. Prior to her election, McGoogie was a longtime employee of a local bank, serving in many capacities. She has been an active volunteer in community, serving on various nonprofit boards, and is currently serving on the United Way Board in Washington, Vice President of Connections and President of the Daviess County Republican Women. The 3rd annual Huntingburg Event Center Antique Show returns to the Huntingburg Event Center and Community Center on Saturday, January 19th. Antique dealers from throughout the tri-state will fill the event center with primitives, furniture, pottery, lighting, Americana, advertising, quiche, glassware, and more. This event has grown each year. Booth rentals are currently up 40% over last year and continue to come in. The Huntingburg Event Center, located at 110 East 14th Street, is a 24,400 square foot building, enabling them to continue to accept qualified vendors throughout the week of the show. Gather your friends and have a day of treasure hunting. Weather's not an issue. The show is inside and comfortable at one of Southern Indiana's premier facilities. Admission is $3. Doors will open at 9 a.m. and the show will conclude at 4 p.m. The Southridge Post-Prom Committee will be providing concessions during the show. For more information or to inquire about booth rental, contact Executive Director Mallory Betts at eventcenter@psci.net. Better yet, call her 812-683-2221, 683-2221. Evansville officials say a tree cutting crew mistakenly felled an oak tree planted for the nation's bicentennial. The 42-year-old tree was recently cut down by a contractor in Evansville downtown across from the old National Events Plaza, leaving behind a plaque stating that it was planted in December of 1976 in honor of the nation's 200th birthday. Dave Rector is the director of the Evansville-Vanderburgh County Building Authority. He says the contractor jumped the gun by felling the tree prior to getting approval from the building authority and other officials. Officials were considering removing the tree for a road widening project, but they hadn't made a decision. Rector plans to propose that the city plant a new tree in the same area once that project is complete. A couple of reminders. The City of Huntingburg's Street Department wants to remind residents that they will pick up Christmas trees for Huntingburg residents on Fridays now through January 25th. Pickup began last Friday and will continue Fridays, January 11th, 18th, and once again, January 25th. Christmas trees must be placed near the curb, and residents are required to call City Hall at 812-683-2211 by Wednesday, January 23rd. For more information, please contact Rachel Steckler at the Huntingburg City Hall, 812-683-2211, 683-2211, or email rsteckler@huntingburg-in.gov. And officials with the Jasper Street Department say B&J Contracting will be closing Mill Street between 11th and 12th Streets today and Friday for sewer work. The closings will begin at 8 a.m. each day, and a portion of Mill Street will be reopened each day at approximately 3 p.m. Motorists will need to avoid this area if possible. Now please stay tuned. Weather and sports is still to come on 18 WJTS.